G'day, hi and welcome. Today is May 24th and what a lovely day. But what else could be making it lovelier? That's what could make it lovelier. Check out that beautiful motorcycle. Okay, before we get into this, I'm going to tell a story, but this is a topic I really hate to cover. It's just so kind of unnecessary, but I do like to keep things real. And this is not to scare anybody or anything like that, but just, you know, reality's reality. And but before we get that, I'm going to tell you some nice lighter stuff first. Okay, so anyway, I was on a mission today, on mission ride number 24, and it's really hot. It's like in the 30s right now. I got lots of work done today. I worked a bit on the boat, painted some of the rocks so I don't hit them with the lawnmower. Still a little bit too wet to go crazy with the lawnmower yet. Cleaned up the shed a bit. Jumped on the bike, and I only wanted to do 20 clicks. I did 30-something, but some motorcyclist thought he could come into Pegasus's territory without being chased down. So I was just about to come home, and I see this guy was loaded up like a pack mule. I couldn't even tell what kind of bike it was. It looked like an FZ06 or something like that, but it wasn't a normal name brand, so I didn't recognize the bike. And he went by, so I thought, okay, I'll follow him. And he was doing good. He was only doing about 110 until we got up to the straights there, and then he started going a little bit too fast. He was going like 120. And this bike, in 6th gear at 120, not that you should be doing 120, you're right in the power band, and you go from 120 to like very, very quickly. So it's not a comfortable speed to cruise at, because you can't. It keeps wanting to go faster. You know, this bike is not like any other bike. This bike is never a question of are you going fast enough. It's like keep looking to slow down. You know, but you could hold 95 all day. You could hold 85 all day. But 100, you just start climbing, and in that 120, you kick into the 5,500 RPM. You're in the power zone, and sure enough, it's fun. It's fun. Between 6,000 and 7,000 RPM, this bike is just magical on the corners. And with such a hot day, these tires are really starting to stick. The good news is that the roads are nice and sticky now. Feel my tire? It's warm. It's not bad. But the bad news is that even though you got stickier tires, it wears down your tires faster. But it is safer. Okay, so I'm going looking for marine silicone for my boat, because I want to tackle the deck hardware pretty soon. And I walk into Irwin's, the local store next town over. I'll get to the main topic in a second. And in there, there's a lady. I know her name. I've talked to her before, but I can't think of what her name is anyway. But anyway, I guess she popped out a little bundle of joy about a year or so ago. So here's this little baby sitting in a basket on the floor, and I'm in my motorcycle gear, and he's just giving me that look, you know, that curious baby look. Doesn't blink, doesn't move, doesn't do anything. I'm like, how's it going, little guy? And he doesn't say nothing. He's just looking at me with this crazy stare. And I'm like, I look like a Power Ranger, don't I? I go, vroom, vroom. He goes, like that. I'm just like, I've corrupted another one at such a young age, yeah. So if this kid grows up to buy motorcycles, his mom's going to blame me. But anyway, next to that, now let's get on to the more serious topic. Okay, I watched, like most motorbike enthusiasts, you end up going on, like, say, Facebook forums. If you want to check it out, I've got, it's called Sprocket Head Talk. Search that on Facebook. Add yourself to it. It's basically anything motorcycle. It is kind of more family oriented. So unlike some motorcycle forums where you got all kinds of babes and bikes, within reason, bikini okay, but no boobs showing and stuff like that. You know, so sultry but not sassy, you know, or sassy but not too sultry. You know what I mean? So, yeah, check out. I'll see if I can put a link down below. So you check out all these forums, and people will post all kinds of stuff. You'll see people post memes of all kinds. You know, don't ride any faster than your angels, guardian angels can fly, stuff like that. They'll post videos of like traffic situations where, look at this idiot cutting this guy off, or this guy, you know, look at how lucky he was that, you know, or this guy saves the bike. But then some people post accidents, and this is something if you're going to get into motorcycles, especially sport bikes, but any bike, I know it's something that is very uncomfortable to watch but it's a dose of reality of what can happen on these machines. And anyway, the scenario is like this. If I can find the video again, I'll link it down below, but it is extremely graphic. Don't watch it with kids. You're basically going to watch 3 people die within 2.5, 3 seconds. And it just happens so fast. so fast. And I don't care how good of a rider you think you are. Valentino Rossi, Marc Marquez, Fast Freddy, Guy Martin, McGuinness, all these guys have crashed. And these guys are the best riders in the world. They've all have crashed. Now, how these guys have walked away from it, I don't know, but there's many guys, names you don't know, who have crashed and not made it. But when it comes to the street stuff, the scenario is this. Now, I don't know if they were in Eastern Europe or whether, there's a guy, he's about to make a pass, and it's kind of one of those road kind of comes down like this, and it goes into a bit of a shallow curve and then comes back. So you're kind of, I don't know if you can see that very well. But anyway, there's a group of motorcycles. They're coming the other way, and there's a car about here, we'll say, to scale, around, somewhere around here. And he has a dash cam, and he's about to come out. And you see him pulling out. He's probably about halfway, just about to go around, and it's just a line of traffic, car after car after car. So he's behind somebody really slow, and he wants to play that leapfrog game that people play in rush hour highway traffic, so to speak. As he does this, right about here, the group of bikers, about two of them right at the very front of the pack, right about here, start to accelerate. And you can see the headlights just kind of pulling away. So these two guys are literally racing. And they get to the curve, and right around the curve, right here, okay, here, I'll grab a stick so you can follow the scenario. So the two bikes are, okay, there's our road, there's our shallow curve, and so our car comes out and he passes. He's just starting to pass here. The group of bikers is about here when the two guys start to accelerate. The first guy, there's a car here, either he got target fixation, whatever, and he goes right into him. Bang. You see the guy literally, there's a red mist as soon as he hits. So you know that's not good. And basically, I don't know if it was all of him, but you see a rag doll going through the air and just literally probably 100, 150 feet in the air, just like that. Just the bike, pieces of the bike goes there, there, there. The second guy, while you see this guy about here in the air, and you know this guy's dead. By the time that happens, there's two headlights here. And you see this bike coming in like this. It's just literally that fast. And he hits that car that was passing out. Now this car basically, it's just he happened to be passing and catch it on video. But the guy hit the quarter panel, and you could see the bike doing this. Now you would think it's because the guy was trying to brake. No, he wasn't braking. He had target fixation. The first guy, when he comes in, you can see him hit, and it's like, paff, and then it just... so it instantly killed the driver of the car he hit. And then the second guy, I guess, freaked out or whatever, sees this car that's out a bit, and the front end of his bike's going like that, like literally waggling like a fishtail, and but you could tell it's not brakes. And you could hear the hit and crunch and everything like that. It doesn't kill the driver of the car with the dash cam, but it instantly kills that driver. But the second bike freaks you out because it happens so fast. It's basically this. It's like or like this. It's literally that fast. Or see if I can simulate it. It's literally that fast. And the guys, so you got 3 people dead. Who's to blame? Well, the bikers technically are at fault on this one. But that said, how many kids they've left behind, how many families. Riding motorcycles is fun, but funerals really suck. And time and place. I mean, you'll hear bikers say, well, we only endanger ourselves when we do stupid things. Speed was obviously the main contributor, target fixation being the second. Time and place, like again, you got lines of traffic on the opposite oncoming. You should not be going that fast, because it's even just the idea of somebody behind a car, when people are following, like literally from that bumper to that bumper there, they don't see the oncoming motorcycles. I usually, when there's a line of cars, I'm usually out as much as I can be closer towards the edge of the road, because every now and then you'll see a car coming out, it's like, whoa, come back in. Because they just don't see it, because the car in front of them is blocking their view. So you got 2 rockets coming at you at over 100 miles an hour, and these guys were going fast. Because you could just see them, their whatever pull, the way they broke away from the main group was just... And I get it. When you're in a big group, it's fun because you get a hooligan-y, and they entice each other to go faster, and I understand that. But time and place. So basically, the first motorcycle, you might as well say, killed the first car, and then the second guy, I guess, went into target fixation of a car that was, I mean, and give you an idea of how fast he was going, literally you could see way over there where my aunt and uncle are. That bike closed that distance to here in under 2 seconds. That's how fast the guy was going, the one that came straight into the quarter panel of the car. And from there to there, he did not have enough time to make a good decision. Now, there's a couple of things that could be learned here. Now, let's say they were all doing the speed limit and this happened. Well, chances are both guys would probably have, well, the first guy probably would have still died. A head-on immediate impact like that. And again, you see red mist when he hits. So, and then you just see the ragdoll going through the air, or part of him, whatever. But the thing is that if you are following another biker, like I was following a biker today because he was in Pegasus territory, if that guy were to go into the ditch, if your guy ahead of you hits something or go into the ditch, don't look at him. Look where you need to be. Make it instinctual that you look through the guy, you look through the road, because it's not very uncommon, and you'll see it in video footage, and they talk about this on the courses and stuff too, is that when the first guy crashes, if you're following too close, you watch the other guy go in, well, you go where you look. So if you watch the other guy go in the ditch, chances are you're going into the ditch or going to cross the line into oncoming traffic. So just be mindful of that. So if somebody goes out, don't panic. You can panic after. Instantly pull your attention to where the road is, where you need to be. Get slowed down, stop, turn around, come back, save your buddy. But the thing is at those speeds, like again, these guys were in the triple digits, there's no doubt about that. The upper triple digits. What kind of bikes, I don't know. They're particles of metal now, so doesn't matter. But the thing is 3 people died needlessly because 2 people used really poor judgment. Again, if it was like next to no traffic on there, yeah, sure, we all speed, we all have fun, stuff like that. You got an oncoming lane with nobody in it. Yeah, you'll see 2 guys rip it up a bit. But when you have lines of traffic like that coming at you, you know they can't see you. And if you got people ahead of you, people behind you, just use common sense there. But it's something that, if I can find the video, I'll link it down below. But again, don't watch it with kids or anything like that. And it's not to freak people out, to get them out of motorcycling or that, but that is a reality that can happen. So if you have to go that fast all the time, maybe buy a track bike. I mean, I'm highly considering buying a track bike. Well, as soon as I got the money to. I was hopefully already would have one by now. Yeah, these things are fun. They're fast. They handle amazing. But there's still margin of error that you have to take into consideration. So, yeah, completely, every bit of this was, loss of life was completely avoidable. Completely avoidable. And that's what should be pointed out here, is that, the guy that, rides the throttle once in a while, no problem. Even the guy that goes knee down once in a while. For example, if you look at my tires here, yes, you can use this edge of the tire here, but I'm never going to have a problem realistically here. Why? Because here, these are hard street tires. These are sport touring tires. Even on a day like today where they're actually kind of grabbing pretty good, when I'm here, okay, that bike is like this. If I'm here, I'm literally at 50 some odd degrees with this bike, maybe 50, not MotoGP leaned over, but you're definitely, you're definitely dragging your foot on the peg. You can hit the pegs on these things, but look at how high the pegs is. That's meant for the track. This is meant for the track, okay? But even with that, going in a straight line, these guys were basically going in a straight line. They hit a shallow curve, and sometimes those little shallow curves sneak up on you, and if you're going too fast, you tend to, oh, geez, I didn't realize that. And then you get panic, you target fixate, especially on oncoming vehicles, on a curve. It's very easy to look at the oncoming cars and throw yourself off in the curve, and then you realize you're over more than what you should be. When you're in a curve, nothing exists but the curve. I don't care if you're going fast or slow. If you're in the curve, nothing exists but the curve. You look through the vehicle ahead of you. Sometimes it's hard to do. You look where you want the bike to be, not at things. And with the flickering of cars coming the other way, whether it's a turn this way or turn this way, doesn't matter. That can mess you up for a split second, and that's all it took for 2 guys to cause so much, so much tragedy. Now, I'm sure these guys were the first 2. I'm sure the rest of the pack would have gunned it too if they would have gunned it a little bit earlier, and you could have saw like probably 5 or 10 bikes. Would have just been like a missile fest of bikes, 30 funerals, right? So it's like, that's really, really sad. But I saw it. I wanted to make. I hate making these videos, and I don't want to be preachy. But I think you know what I'm getting at. And you know, you guys, you know, make all the jokes you want, whatever. But you know, like if these people had children, you know what I mean? You know, and again, completely senseless. Where these guys probably could have duked it out, like Valentino Rossi and Marc Marquez on a track somewhere, and you know, even if they would have both went down, they'd probably still be alive. But head on into a car, you're not gonna walk away from that, and it's not going to be an open casket either. You know what I mean? Like these guys were ripped apart in the accident. Probably the guy where the first bike hit, probably I'm sure that guy wasn't going to be an open casket either. Brutal, really, really brutal. And unnecessary. So ride safe, guys. I thought I'd bring that out. Bit of a ugly topic. I won't cover too many of them. But if you're going to get into motorcycling, or you're into motorcycling, yeah, you've been riding for years. I mean, if we're just go by bragging rights, I'll bring up Yami Noob, and then we'll call it that. I don't want the video to go on too long, but Yami Noob. Remember when he I guess it would be almost 2 years now, or a year ago, when he hit the oncoming Porsche. Well, that's what happened. He got target fixation for like a tenth of a second. And that was enough at that speed that you will, just at the speed limit, okay, 100 kilometers an hour is 96, or 96 kilometers an hour, 100 kilometers an hour, is roughly 60 miles an hour, which is the speed limit here in Canada. In the States, the speed limits are even higher. They're like 120 or about 75 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour in some places. At that speed, just at 100 kilometers an hour, you are covering, okay, 96 feet a second. So within 3 seconds, you go a football field. That's at the speed limit. So that's from here to my aunt and uncle's house over there in 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Now you're there. Now, if you're doing double that speed, 120 miles an hour, you're there in a second and a half. 1, done. That fast. That's how fast this happens. That's why I know these guys were going so fast, because the second guy, the first guy's still in the air when the second bike hits. So that guy closed the distance of there to there, so he had to be doing over 120 miles an hour head on, quarter panel to how the driver of the car with the cam didn't die, I don't know, but I'm sure he took the engine off that car. Yeah. So again, you just do not have, you're in a tight quarters with oncoming traffic. You have no place to maneuver on a shallow curve. You get target fixation for 1 split second, and 3 people are dead. That type of thing. So that's the moral of the story here is, guys, I've got like over 130,000 miles on motorcycles probably over the years. And I just got back into it last year, and this is my second season with this bike. And I've already got on this bike probably a few thousand kilometers on it. This is only ride number 24. So it's like probably well over 1,500, maybe 2,000 kilometers on the bike this season already. So I know if you spend enough time on a motorcycle, that no matter how good of a rider you are, you're eventually going to go down. That's just reality. So it is what it is. But you don't have to make it the risks higher. You've already got, a second you throw your leg over, the risk starts from throwing your leg over the seat. That's exactly the way you look at a motorcycle, is that from the time you put your leg over the seat and put the bike upright, your factor of risk goes up and up and up and up and up. So don't take the unnecessary risks. If you really, really have to have that much speed, track day isn't all that expensive. It's expensive enough, but you know, you can get the lead out that way. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. So if I can find the video, I'll link it down below. If I don't, well, just take my word for it. It was really gruesome to watch. And I watched it several times because I usually like studying accidents too, to see what went wrong and what they did. And target fixation is a really big problem. And you have to keep that in the back of your head all the time when you're riding a motorcycle. The other thing I'll talk about is motorcycle senses. I don't know if I've already covered that video, but maybe I'll do that. I know I'm going on too long now, but it's just, I thought this was a really important public announcement to make. So I know other people have done it, but the goal again, maybe just watch a few, maybe not too gruesome ones, but just show some people who crash on their bikes, just to kind of sober the reality for you a bit that, yeah, you can have fun with these things, but understand the risk. And you'll see lots of squids squid videos, the guy, you know, yeah, he doesn't die, but when they do die, it's like it's pretty bad. Now, one thing I'll leave on this here in Canada, the RCMP just put out a statistic. 80% of almost all motorcycle accidents in Ontario are not the rider's fault. So my next video is going to be on, basically the mindset of a motorcyclist and stuff like that. All right, anyway, I'll leave it at that. So anyway, have a great day.